I would like to thank, first of all the CEOs of our community to provide the data. Also, MarketScope and Piper Sandler, they done significant work to help me with the analysis I'm going to share with you today, and Startup Nation Central. By the way, for those who don't know me, Nahum, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Eye-Yon Medical, but I'm not going to speak about Eye-Yon Medical today. So let's dive into the Israel high-tech landscape. Despite challenging year, we have more than 7,000 active companies in Israel and almost 900 active investors. Private funding increased compared to 2023 and actually was more than $10 billion in total. When we break down the companies by sector, it's interesting to see that health tech is leading with almost 1,600 companies, 100 of which are in ophthalmology. Let's speak about the global ophthalmic revenues in 2024. So it rose to almost $50 billion. There is almost half and half split between medical device and pharmaceutical, with a small advantage to pharmaceutical. And when we look on pharmaceutical, retina is the leading part of it. The fastest growing indication is glaucoma surgical, and the slowest one is diagnostic. Largest regional markets, obviously, US and Europe, and the overall growth is robust from less than $40 billion in 2018 to, as I said earlier, almost $50 billion in 2024. Let's say the revenue growth rate, and as you can see, glaucoma leading the chart, and retina pharma, which is essentially the largest portion of pharmaceutical, sits below the average CAGR. When we look into the different deals and we divide them by sector and source, it's interesting to see that main deals in the retina part, those of you that are in the posterior part of the eye, led by strategic investors, big companies. We know several amazing deals done last year. And when we look on the anterior segment, that's more public offering and venture capital, but the total amount obviously is lower. Let's speak about the largest ophthalmic acquisitions. iBio, that developed drug to retinal vascular drainage leakage, was acquired by Merck in an initial amount of $1.3 billion, can get all the way to 1.7, and we can't show that without focusing on our own success. Belkin, I see you, Michael. It's just the initial amount. It sums up to almost 4 times of it, depends the additional milestone. But that's what is published, so I can't tell more than that. One more chart that I wanted to share with you is the different rounds size. Okay, it's kind of hard to maybe understand it in one look. So you can see retina in yellow and anterior segment in blue. And it's interesting to see that more money is raised in early stages in retina compared to anterior segment, that most of the rounds are in a later stage, but there are actually more deals in anterior segment compared to retina. So with that, I would move to regulation. There were several interesting approvals in 2024 from cataract to dry eye and other segments, but I can't show that slide without mentioning the new administration and the change. We're already aware of some personnel that needed to leave the FDA. Some of them, just yesterday, there was another publication that some of them called back. Most of them, as far as I know, are actually the kind of new generation, people that deal with AI, reviewers, young reviewers. So the IDE processes shouldn't be too affected, but let's wait and see. So before we dive into the Israel ophthalmology industry, I want to share with you a pyramid I shared in the last year, which I think resemble the different stages. There are so many super exciting companies here and motivated CEOs and entrepreneurs with great idea, maybe some preclinical data, but honestly, as all of us know, it's way too early to tell. Then we move to clinical trials and even regulatory approvals, but still you can't say you get true advancement in patient care until you are in the market. And fortunately, there are companies in Israel that reach that stage, and it's very exciting to see. So let's speak about us, about the Israeli ophthalmic industry. When we divide the different company size, yes, we are the startup nation, a lot of small companies, but it's interesting to see, and this is a new question I added this year, to learn that actually we have subsidiaries. Companies in Israel do recruit and hire employees all around the world. I don't know which one of you been in the last session in the main agenda where Giora said that venture capitals not only evaluating companies by the amount of money they can generate, but also by the amount of new hires they can make, new positions. So there are companies in Israel that hiring people from the US, have subsidiaries in the US, Europe, China, India, and I want to highlight Hanita, which actually this year done a meaningful progress, opening even their manufacturing facilities, new manufacturing facility in China, and recruit employees all around the world, and really became quite a big company and big name in IOL. So let's divide the company by sector. When we look about sectors, medical device really leading the chart, and there are some pharma companies, of course, and we see even companies like the one we just seen that dealing with tissue engineering, and there are so much additional sectors that I couldn't put all of them, but those are the leading ones. When we speak about segments, interesting to see that companies in Israel operating in all sectors, in all segments, from cornea to cataract, glaucoma, quite an even distribution. And more important than when we go back to the true advancement in patient care, the stage. So yes, there are companies in early stage prototype, but there is a significant amount of companies that are in commercialization. And as most of my colleagues here know, when we approach or when we are attending the different innovation sessions in ophthalmology, sometimes 40% of the companies are from Israel, and we do see booth, and we can be very proud to walk on the exhibition hall, see companies like Belkin, like Hanita, like Luminis, so many that are really having true advancement in patient care. As my co-chair Daphne said, we couldn't do it without funding. So the total raise was almost $1 million. Average funding per company is $12 million. And we have strategic investors investing in Israel. I want to add two more players that I didn't have them last year. J&J, for example, that led the amazing round of Oasis. They done a round of $78 million and going to commercialize their product Lossy in the US. As for local regulation, there are 70 companies which are FDA approved and several PMA, more than one actually, I just found recently. And we have several companies that have a 510K de novo. I want to mention Perifex that got their FDA approval this year. So congratulations for them. Everybody knows how hard it is. And surprisingly, it's not more easy than having an approval in China. and oversight received an MPA approval, which is quite amazing. I did mention the Android, our own baby my own baby that got approval in Hong Kong, because I see and I got the information from many companies that got approval in different locations, which are not, let's say, the most the suspected territories. And approval in Hong Kong, for example, does allow you commercialization in South China, which is quite interesting to learn. So there are many companies with approval in India. We have approval in India, and it's interesting to learn about it and that implication. So before I conclude, I want to mention several interesting companies. NanoDrop, a company founded by David Smadja that developed refractive correction drops, finished a very interesting funding round and have a new management, exciting one. You're going to hear all about it. Oasis, as I said, finalized the funding round of $78 million. They're going to launch their product in the US by themselves. Again, true advancement in patient care, that's what we are aiming. And Aurora is quite a young company. They developed something very interesting, a topical drop to change the color of your eye with a very interesting idea. It will be interesting to follow up on them. On the device part, I think we are getting to an era finally of robotics. So it will be interesting to follow on Surgical, which developing a device or a robot for retinal surgeries, and Foresight Robotics, which made a lot of noise under the radar. I know it's kind of contradicting, but everybody knows about them, but they're kind of not speaking. I think we're going to hear a lot of news from them, developing surgical robotics for cataract surgery. I also want to mention Mikiyagi, which is an interesting company already in the market that have a kind of all-in-one diagnostic tool that the patient stand, in that case, in front of a very big device, but go through all the testing in very short time. So it's interesting to follow on that. With that, I would like to conclude and thank you all for your great effort and great innovations.